Hi, and welcome to the No Dick Pics podcast. I'm Max.
I'm Christina. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Doing well.
So we're recording this a little out of order. We did the interview with Shannon and Jarrett on Thursday. Typically, we do the before and after part the same day. So the draft has happened.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the draft?
It was exciting. Detroit represented. They set a record for over 700,000 people.
It's
Now
like the
people,
biggest one, right?
yeah, now people can start, stop saying like, "Oh, everyone gets killed in Detroit." Like it's a regular city.
I say that about Chicago too.
So, it was good. I mean, everyone, every publication, everyone won the draft, so now fun begins.
All right. So today we're going to talk about mistakes you make in relationships. Like, people generally make a lot of the same mistakes and can't figure out why it's not working for them. And there's usually a reason to it. So, Nick Viall with the Viall Files, he was a bachelor. I'm a fan. I don't know. Am I a fan? Nick's kind of an asshole, but he gives really good advice. I met him in Naperville last year. Him and his now wife, Natalie.
Every single bachelorette could walk through that front door, and I want to know who the hell they are. Now, if a wrestler or a sports person walked through, I definitely would know. Especially a wrestler.
All right, so Nick has 5 common mistakes made in relationships. One is, and I guess I can like read off one and we can discuss.
All right.
So the first one is focusing too much on trying to get the person to like you before you have even decided if you like them.
That's I'm sorry. Like when you first meet someone, like that's what you want, and you want them to like you so bad, and you kind of sometimes you might like get lost in it. It's different for each person because it depends what you're dating for. Some people are just dating to have sex. Some people are just dating to date. Some people are dating to get into a relationship, and some people are dating to get married.
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
a lot of people that are dating to get married. I think a lot of people are hurt.
But I think this is a common mistake because I think I do it all the time. I want this person to like me so much that I'm not even worried about if I like them too. And I think that's happened to me a couple times.
When someone gives you attention, it feels nice.
Yeah.
Especially if you're coming out of a bad relationship or marriage or vice versa. Mm-hmm. When you actually have someone that like shows you attention, you kind of forget the other stuff. So.
All right. We're going to go to number 2. Lack of communication. Through not putting out your intentions and by making the mistake of avoiding things, like defining what you're looking for in a relationship.
But what if you don't, lack of communication is...
Were you going to say, what if you don't know what you want?
Yeah, but that's a lot of people. A lot of people don't know what they want, or they're not sure what they want with this person, right?
That's true.
But in the beginning, that's why I think this is where, like, this is where we need to step back and be like, okay, I like this person. I want to go on some dates with them. I want to get to know them. And then when you start feeling like, okay, this can go somewhere, then you have that conversation. I don't think you have the conversation in the beginning.
No, on
it's
day
like on
one,
the first date, I'm going to be like, by the way, I don't want any more kids. I don't want to get married. And I believe in... And then it's like, what?
I think that's valid to bring up on the first date. To be like, I'm not looking to have... Like, if it's someone who's like, I want to have a family, because that happened to me. There's a guy that I don't know, we didn't even go on a date, but he wanted us a whole family, and I've already done that. I don't want to do that. And we had a whole like evening, and then we had never discussed it until the end of the night. That was someone I met in the wild, and I just assumed I knew them, and I did not because we didn't have the discussion. But that was a deal breaker. He wanted a family, and I don't.
On my first date, I'm just gonna go. I just want to boink.
That's your goal.
Yeah, I just want to boink. You in? You in? Fist pump? You in?
Fist pump.
I just wanted to say the word boink.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You just want that for the promo.
Just listen to the boink.
Boink.
Boink. Yeah.
I think communication in general is important in any relationship, even not like dating, just like friendships and stuff. So putting out what your expectations are and what you're looking for, if you know, because some people don't know, like just putting out what you're looking for. And a lot of people do that in their like bios. So, but guys don't read those, do they?
Why? Because half of them are, people will be like, well, you didn't read my bio? And I'll be like, but how do I, like half the bios you talk with them, it's made up or it's exaggerated, so I don't really look into it. I mean,
Mine was solid.
the only thing I look at is if do they want children, and I've even said it says do not want children, and then they're like, yeah, I'm looking to have more kids. Like, then you should put that on your profile or
Liar.
the location, and then I look for the pictures because the pictures are too fake, like almost look like a an agency photo. Then it's like nope, like or my pet peeve is like who am I looking at? Because there's a group in every picture. Who are you?
Which person are you? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a guy that I'm still friends with that his main profile is him and two other guys, and I'm like, wait, which one is he? So number 3 is not trusting your gut and not being honest with yourself for fear of the answer. For example, if you're sensing they're cheating or they don't like you back, and you don't honor that, no one will lie to us more than ourselves. We are the biggest liars we'll ever meet. That's so true, though.
Yeah, I mean, you have to trust your gut.
Yeah.
I went out with someone and like I knew it was too good to be true, so I should have just like ended it. But I was just like, oh, I'm gonna just go along for this ride, and I felt like I couldn't trust her, but for some reason I just kept getting going through with it, and I regret that. But
you
yeah,
feared the answer. You knew what the answer was, but you didn't want to admit it to yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true.
And sometimes I don't know with your gut because it's like it all depends, and this goes off topic too. I just feel like dating today, I feel like everyone has issues. You just have to find someone that has kind of like the similar issues that you have, and you kind of work with it. Like
someone who's broken in the same way.
Right. Everyone. I mean, we all everyone we have issues today. It's just plain and simple. I just think we're at the end of the day we're afraid to hear the truth. We don't want to hear it. It's tough. That's why it's. I mean, it's not easy to date these days. I just think you have to be true to yourself, and you've just got to kind of go with it. And
I think the lying to yourself is a very accurate statement because I think there's a lot. Where I struggle with that is like I have like pretty severe anxiety, and I have some like I don't want to say trauma because it's not trauma, but it kind of is from past dating experiences where people like flipped on me out of nowhere, and so I'm always like, does he like me? Does he like me? Does he like me? And like the first guy I dated, I didn't wonder that at all. I didn't have that anxiety. I was like, of course he likes me. And then he dumped me. So like, and it was out of nowhere. And so now I have that like, I guess it is like a form of trauma where I was just like, I got blindsided and.
But people get scared too, and they do weird things. One of the relationships I was in, she even told me what she does is when she gets scared or she wants out, she sleeps with someone else, and that's how she got out of her marriage. Yeah, that's how she got out of certain relationships.
That's a red flag, man.
But I didn't see it, and then what happens as soon as things were getting good, she got scared, and she did the same thing to me. But at first I was mad. I'm like, how do you do this? But then my therapist was like, look at the past. Like she even showed you, she even told you, and but you're so stuck in your ways. Like, oh no, I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna be different.
You're ignoring your gut and you're.
I'm gonna go with a sports analogy. It's like whenever there's this troubled athlete that gets into trouble over and over, and he just can't get on the right track. Every coach thinks, "Oh, I'm the one that's gonna change this guy. I'm gonna get to him, and then he's gonna behave," and it doesn't happen. That's kind of like with dating. Like you just keep, you can't tell yourself, "Oh no, it's gonna be different this time."
Yeah. So there is a guy that I'm friends with a lot of guys I talk to, but I'm still friends with this guy. But his nickname was Red Flag. And then his name, I'm not going to say it because I'm going to try to get him on here as a guest. But like, that was his nickname. It was Red Flag. Because he was a walking red flag. He is the guy who sent me the dick pic within the first hour of us talking. There's so many things about him that were like, no, just drop this guy. He's not worth it. And for some reason, he's really like connected to me and like checks in on me every couple of days and like is the most consistent person I had ever talked to, where he like still to this day will text me constantly, randomly call me, check in, whatever. And I thought maybe he just needs someone who believes in him.
And sometimes what guys do, they want like when they're not interested in you, and then when they find out that you're with someone else, then they realize, oh wait, like they want something they can't have, and then they pop into your life again.
I told him to fuck off so many times, and he keeps coming back. And I'm like, man, this guy's persistent. But now we're like very much just friends, but like I think in the beginning I thought maybe he just needs someone who is willing to give him a chance because he's such a fuckboy and because he's such like a walking like disaster. Maybe someone just needs to believe in him and I can be the person.
See, there you go. You think you can fix him?
And I'm like, I can help him.
I can fix him.
He just needs to see someone who sees him for more than like, because he's a pretty dude. So I'm like, maybe he just.
It's like the '90s movies, right? Of the guy or girl that's like, oh, the nerd or whatever, and they dress them up and get them big, and they turn them into someone that they're not. Like,
yeah. So I don't know. I thought maybe he just needed someone who actually like would take the time to listen to him. And it was not the thing. He is exactly who we think he is. I hung out with him. He's fun friend, not a relationship for me at all. Like that would never work. But it's funny because I kept lying to myself like, but maybe for me he'd be different. Maybe he's not actually a fuckboy. Maybe he's just got this like act. So no, it's all valid. You should listen to your gut. It's usually right. All right. I'll do the next one. Not establishing what you want in a relationship going forward. Like being afraid to speak up about where you want to go on the first date. Don't be accepting and laid back if that's not you. Because you lose.
Oh, that's so me.
Because you lose your power not taking initiative in decisions. So I think it's really like don't pretend you're laid back if you're not. Like if you have an opinion about something, speak up and say it. Like if you're like you don't like seafood and your date takes you to sushi and you're just like, okay, thanks. Say something. Be like, I don't like this.
Yeah. But I think people are afraid to.
Yeah. They don't want to be difficult.
That's why I can't date a vegan. It's just, oh, we can go and get crackers and beans. How's that?
Some wheatgrass.
Yeah.
Okay, and the fifth one is deciding too early. This one I take personal offense to. Deciding too early where the relationship is heading. Enjoy the honeymoon phase. Just let it be. Don't get ahead of yourself. And also realize there will be bumps in the road ahead. So enjoy the fun part at the beginning.
Yeah, that's why I say don't jump. Yep. People want, like, after a couple dates, people want to start planning the wedding and the honeymoon. Like, no, stop. Yeah.
I will say, in my current relationship, I have been better about that because we were joking about weddings with the last guy I dated. I think that freaked him out too. It wasn't me. It was my friend. A lot of people out. We were just joking about weddings, and it was a joke. It was not meant to be serious, but I think he was like, oh my god, what are we doing? And then he dumped me. What are your thoughts, knowing me? Does this describe me?
Oh yeah. I think, because I think people have to realize, like, a honeymoon phase, yes. Like, the first 3 or 4 months should just be fun, getting to know each other, and doing what, each other likes. And I know in previous relationships, like, the first couple months, we would fight a lot, and I'm like, this is not how it's supposed to be. But, yeah, I mean, I think we get so excited because we're, especially, at this age, we're coming off of relationships or marriages and whatever, and you just want that, I don't know, you want to feel good again, and that first time you feel good, you almost be like, okay, you want to kind of pause everything and jump ahead, and sometimes you just got to, like, go with the flow, like, hey, this is what you're supposed to do, enjoy each other's company, find out about each other, and go from there. But yeah, everyone does that. It's not.
I'm absolutely guilty of it. Me and my friend Dan have talked about it before, where he's like, are you looking at wedding dresses? And I'm like, no, I'm not. And this time, I'm not. I have not looked at wedding dresses. So that's exciting. That's a huge step for me.
If I'm dating someone and I see on their phone that they're looking at wedding dresses, like, I don't care what guy is out there. Every guy would be like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. Unless that's your ultimate goal. I mean, but I don't think a lot of guys are like, they're looking to get, I mean.
Some are, though.
Some are, but they won't.
They were getting married tomorrow if they could.
They won't admit. I mean, some of them won't, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I get a little delusional. I get ahead of myself, and that's where I get my feelings hurt, because I think with the last guy I dated, that was especially where I did it. I think the first guy I didn't have time to do it because I only dated him for a week, but the last guy I dated, I think we got very comfortable with each other very, very quickly because we had known each other for like a month or so before that. So it wasn't really that getting to know you phase is kind of over. So we kind of dove right into like relationship stuff. And it was just very, I got too comfortable. And I think he did too. And we like jumped ahead in steps. We're spending time with each other. Well, he didn't meet my family, but I met his family. We spent the holidays together.
See, that's a lot.
It is a lot. His cousin said, "Welcome to the family," and I went, "Whoa."
That's too much.
Even for me, who like I love that stuff. I was like, "Whoa."
That's just way too much. Like the first week or two.
It was at the end of the first week.
Wow.
Yeah. It was just the timing of when we started dating too. And I sometimes wonder if if I had started dating him when we initially first went on a date, if things would have been different because we didn't have the pressure of the holidays. But
the holidays is tough too when you're alone or single.
Well, and I think part of it is he felt bad for me because he's like, I don't want her to be alone. He's like, come spend it with us. I'm like, okay.
But he might have thought that and not realizing like what it's gonna look like.
Like what kind of a huge step that is. Yeah. So that was intense. And I think it was honestly it was like the straw that broke the camel's back.
That's just too much in the beginning. For me, that's just too much.
I think it was too much for both of us because like I was happy to be there and I had a really good time.
And then when you try to step back, then it's
And I think even for him it was too much because like he was happy in the time as we like went through it, but I think afterwards he was like, whoa, that was a lot. Like that was too much. And like how do you go back from that? Like it's hard to be like, well, let's slow down. Like slow down from what? Like we already.
So he just broke up with you, and that's
he just broke up with me. It worked out though. Like everything worked out the way it was supposed to because I met my current guy the next day. So it is what it is.
It's good timing.
Yeah.
You just go from one to the other. Boom, boom, boom.
Don't take a break.
Yeah.
Because I went from the Christmas party guy.
You don't even go up for, this is a swimming analogy, so don't take it, but you're not even going up for air. You're just staying down at the ocean, grabbing, ooh, that one looks good.
I'm looking for treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's probably not healthy either, but I am who I am. And I'm really happy now. So
but it's healthy anymore. I mean,
right. And I think where I'm at right now, I'm in a good place, and and I don't know. I think I'm unique in that I know very much what I want. I think a lot of people don't, like you said, know what they want. I know exactly what I want. So I don't think I need to like take that time to like figure out where I'm going and what I want because I know exactly what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So those are Nick's 5 rules.
But they're very. Here's the thing too.
They're not rules. They're just like.
They're very broad too. It's it's almost like a horoscope where they talk about like, oh, I'm a Cancer, this and that. It's very broad. So yeah, I mean anything. Oh, you got to communicate. You got to do this. Everyone has their own ways. You could follow those rules, and one relationship might work, and then you can follow a different set of rules, and it whatever works for people. That's the thing. I think it comes down to. You guys need to be on the same page. You need to be able to communicate, and hopefully you have that conversation of like what you're looking for, or what you want, or what maybe you want going in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, every day I wake up, I'm like, all right, let's do this. Let's take a day at a time. Like that's the best advice I can give someone. It's just like don't overdo it, but don't kind of underdo it too. Like you don't give a shit. I always tell people step back, think about like how this person makes you feel. Do you see a future? Because if you don't see like a future with them, if you're like, I've gone in relationships and I've known them like, hey, this is just gonna be a summer fling. Mm-hmm. I've known that right off the bat, and I've been all right with it. And then when it ends, it's actually it doesn't hurt as much. I mean, it still hurts that someone doesn't want to be with you, but and you kind of go from there. You just gotta I guess play it by ear too.
I'm just not good at that. That's where I struggle, and I don't know why. I think it's because I was married for so long. I don't know anything but like a committed thing. So I'm like, you don't want to be committed to me? Why?
Some people just
yeah.
Like I talk about like during the school, like that's what I said. I would never date during the school year because I was just so busy with my life, and it was crazy. And then the times I do have available, sometimes I just need some me time. That's why my therapist always joke is like, yeah, you're a summer dater because once summer hit and the kids aren't at school, then I would have more time and I'd be able to go out and kind of, work on a relationship. So, you know,
But you didn't do that this time.
no, which is
How
different.
how has that been different for you?
It's difficult because my life is really busy with the kids and school and work. So it's like trying to find the time, and then you have to meet someone that actually accepts that. And so that's where that parent versus non-parent comes in. To me, not this is not for everyone, but if I was dating a non-parent, I don't think she would understand it as much. Be like, well, he doesn't seem to have time for me on this day and this. Like my Mondays, Tuesdays, and sometimes Wednesdays are crazy. So sometimes I can't, I can get to the phone and I can text, I can call. I'll never do that. And as you date someone who's a parent, I think they understand it because they're kind of going through the same thing, and they understand like yeah, like something comes up if you're supposed to have, a nice date, and then something comes up with a kid, a parent versus non-parent. I think it's a different,
Oh yeah,
different point of view.
definitely.
But I would never judge someone if they're not a parent or if they're a parent because you never know. But yeah, so far so good,
So
and then the summer's coming, so it's like I'm so used to
you don't have to look for
putting
anyone this
putting my
time.
dating hat on and right around like the end of May, right? Like the one, what did I see the hat the guy wears? I'm single.
Oh, in the dating group, yeah, there's
Yeah.
this guy in this group that we're in that has his "I'm single" hat.
And he wears it
wears it to-
everywhere.
All right, so we have Shannon and Jarrett coming up next. We did a great interview with them. It was a lot of fun. It took a lot of work to make it not 2 hours long. So, yeah. So
I love
coming
the
up next.
story. Yeah, not to tease it, but the how they met is
It's
an awesome story.
one of the best stories.
It's like
I've
it's
heard.
almost like a movie. Like you're like, no, that's made up. There's no way. And it shows you the time frame. Like it was the early 2000, no 90s to early 2000s. The time was just different.
Yeah, so we're gonna do, like, obviously we're gonna talk about dating and dating stories and things like that, but I thought it'd be fun to throw in like a success story of someone who worked out and like they met in a crazy way and then it worked out. So if you have some happy stories that you want to share with us too, we'd love to hear them all. So yeah, coming up next, Shannon and Jarrett. Hi guys, I just want to add before you listen to this interview with Shannon and Jarrett, we're trying really hard to improve our sound. We're not trying to invest a ton in equipment just yet. We will probably eventually as we grow the podcast, but right now it's really just a hobby. So we tried these two lapel mics. They were terrible, so I apologize for the sound. We sound like garbled AI robots, but luckily Shannon and Jarrett sound fine, and they are the important part of the interview. So I apologize in advance. Please continue to listen. Thanks. We would like to introduce Shannon and Jarrett to the No Dick Pics podcast. Welcome, guys, and welcome audio.
Hello.
Hi.
Good evening.
So Shannon and Jarrett are some of my best friends. We thought we'd change things up this week and have some success stories, some happy stories instead of disasters. And the downfall of dating, there's benefits because, sometimes you meet someone and it ends up working out and you're married for 20 years?
Almost. They're like 19.7.
In October.
That's exciting. Yeah, you guys are in Virginia. So I used to live there many years ago, and me and Shannon worked together. And she's been stuck with me ever since. So, and I inherited Jarrett.
You did.
So that's part of the package. So we've gone on a lot of trips together. We've traveled a lot. It's been a little bit, so we got to fix that. But, yeah. Those are my favorite people.
We've had a lot of fun. It's been too long.
I know.
Shannon was going over some of the trips, and I was like, wow, so many trips, so
Yeah.
much.
A lot of Vegas trips.
A lot of Vegas trips.
A lot of trips to
Hawaii.
Vegas and Hawaii.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that was Hawaii was
Yeah.
very memorable.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can get back there Eventually.
Not Mexico.
Not Mexico. Not this one.
No, I'm not. No, I don't want to go back. I just won't go. Oh, actually, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
we
not
actually
with
have a wedding. We actually are going to Mexico next May, not this May, but next May for a wedding. And Christina and I, when I first started, you had already been there like a few months, I think, before I started.
Yeah.
And our cubicles were right across from each other. And I think how I like broke the ice with her was like she had a little Tim Gunn bobblehead from Project Runway, and I went over and I was like, "Oh my God, I love Project Runway!" And so we just like that was it.
That was it.
We've been friends ever since. We used to get in
I've seen
trouble
ever
for throwing our chairs around and looking at each other and talking the whole time.
I know. How annoying were we to sit by? Those poor
Probably.
people. Let's talk about Glee.
Are you gonna watch The Bachelor tonight?
You gonna watch The Bachelor?
I'm upset because you broke the. I didn't think bobbleheads because being on sports.
Oh, I don't even know where it is. I have to find it because we can add it to yours. He's got a bunch of bobbleheads.
Do you still
I
have
think
it?
I do.
Oh yeah.
So, you guys met in an adorable way. It's one of my favorite stories. So-
It's one of a kind. I don't
Yeah.
think it's ever happened to anyone else.
So I guess you want us to tell that story, huh?
How did you two meet?
Okay, so it was 2003, and my friend and I were going to the ocean front. We live in Virginia Beach. Going to the ocean front. It was in the summertime, and we were meeting some friends at a bar to have drinks on a Saturday night. And after we were done, we were leaving to come home. It was probably like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we were feeling silly, and we had our windows rolled down, and we're waving to people and talking to people and shouting at people and, walking down the strip. And so we get on the interstate, and as we're getting on the interstate, here comes this little, what did you have?
A Z28.
He had a Z28 Camaro.
Nice.
We were in a Mustang. So he comes up, and his friend Chad, who was in our wedding, by the way, was in the passenger seat. And so we saw these two guys, and we're like, hey, and they just zoomed along. Well, I guess after they passed us, his friend Chad goes, those girls back there were waving at us. And Jarrett's like, oh, really?
I was like, what? I was like, where? So I looked in the rearview mirror because I was flying through the gears. And I'm looking back, and I was like, I think that's them way back there, like a half mile or something. So I let off the gas, and I was like, I'm going to let them catch up.
Mm-hmm. So his friend Chad's got the window rolled down. He's like, hey, we're on the interstate. We're
on the highway.
Yeah. And like, hey, and Jarrett turns on the map light above him and leans forward and looks over and goes like that. And so Chad's trying to yell out his phone number, and he ends up yelling out his own phone number. I called the number because my friend Lynn was driving, and Chad just doesn't even answer. He just hands it to Jarrett.
Hello?
He's like, hey, what's going on?
I was like, you're those girls in that car beside us.
I would never be able to get the phone number right. That's
It was-
crazy.
He has a very easy phone number.
I got my car right up against her car at 50. We slowed down to about 50, and I got my door right off their door and just yelled, 7, 1, and just loud like that.
But his friend Chad, he's a very strong silent type, really quiet. So the fact that he did this is just
Completely
so out of character for him that he yelled out the window.
It's crazy that he even said anything.
Yeah. So we're on the phone, and I mean, you just think, oh, what you doing? It's going to be a couple minute conversation.
Tops.
Just being silly or hey, where are you going now? But it was really late. Everything was closed. So that, what are you going to go to? IHOP or something? But so he ends up starting to ask me a lot of questions, and we just start talking, and we start realizing that we know some of the same people, and
Jarrett knows everyone too. Oh.
What's that?
Jarrett knows everyone.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, we both are born and raised in this area, which is actually pretty rare because it's a military town. So, to have two people that were born and raised in the areas
and stay in the area.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the kids we went to school with are gone.
Yeah. So that's pretty rare. But we talked on the phone, and it ended up being, he's like, oh, I'm going to have to call you back on my phone number because I got to take Chad home.
Yeah.
And we ended up staying on the phone till like, 6 o'clock in the morning or something like that.
We were on the phone for like 4 hours.
4 hours, yep. And he's like, well, I really want to take you out. And even back then, I mean, of course, you got to be careful, and you don't know these people. I mean, I had a good feeling about him, obviously, if I'm on the phone with him for that long. So we found out that we only live like a mile away from each other. And so that was back when like Tropical Smoothie had first like really opened. And he's like,
got that here. It's new for us. Not for me, but for this area, it's right.
Yeah. So
yeah.
He's like, well, why don't we just like meet at the Tropical Smoothie like after dinner time, and we'll get a smoothie and we'll just sit and talk, and you see if you feel comfortable with me or whatever. So that's what we planned on doing. The funny thing was, it was a Sunday, and so we meet up there, and it's closed. I don't remember. It wasn't that late. I guess this is back when things closed early on Sundays.
I think it closed at like 6.
Yeah.
So we ended up going to Applebee's, like
across the street and getting
not too far, the closest, quickest thing that was nearby.
And had a drink and an appetizer. And
a drink and an appetizer, something simple. No like big dinner or anything like that.
Right. Just drink coffee. So it's weird.
So
the funny thing about your story is, I know you guys, but I would have guessed that Jarrett was the one yelling out the window, like to initiate the whole thing, because you yell out the window all the time.
Oh yeah,
like,
of course.
We're in Vegas and you're just yelling at people, trying to race in the minivan.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for his friend Chad, he wouldn't even.
I would have had no idea, because all I was doing was just trying to race my car and just be wild and crazy. And
But after that first date, we were together ever since.
I love that.
Yeah, the first date went really well, and I got got an immediate second date, and then she was moving into my apartment in within a month.
No.
What?
No.
In like a month, you started leaving stuff there.
You told me to. So you have to understand, even back in 2003, there was still the online dating thing, and you still had.
Yes.
I dated a guy I met online. Yeah, I have to tell you.
You have stories?
Yes, I have stories. It's a different time. I mean, there wasn't video chats and stuff like that, but yeah, that's when you used to have to take a picture of yourself and scan it to your computer.
Yeah, 56. It was just.
AOL chat room.
Never was after 56K.
Yeah, so I mean, I was leery about that, but I also had a pretty bad dating, the couple years leading up to him, just one bad date after another. And so I was very apprehensive, but after a couple weeks, he was like, so why don't you bring some stuff over? Bring an extra toothbrush and some. I'm like, what?
So
really?
I can see her more.
Yeah. I mean, I lived so close.
I know, it was right down this. It was a mile, exactly 1 mile. As the crow flies. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that initial conversation, we just was only gonna be total at max 2 minutes. Hey, what are you doing? And just, hey, I see you in that car, and just being goofy, and then click, pretty much. And then all of a sudden, I just was trying to play it cool. Hey, what were y'all doing at the beach? And I was trying to just not be creepy. Ask the right questions, but don't be too creepy. But try to ask as many questions as you can. But I kept asking the questions, and she kept answering them pretty much how I wanted. Hey, I asked, are you single? And she's like, yeah. And
That's important.
Small things.
That is important. That's probably
small
number
things.
one.
Small things. And I didn't want to push the envelope too hard, but I just enough to, hey, you're single. You're around my age. I can obviously see you're pretty hot in the car right there with the, I can see you there. And, and then you're in Virginia Beach. So, I mean, it kind of worked. It worked out almost too easy.
Yeah.
Was it tourist season or no?
Yeah, it was in July, but it was late.
Oh,
it was super late.
It was late. There weren't a lot of cars on the road, but you got to think, when you're leaving the Virginia Beach oceanfront, you can be from anywhere. You could be from Kentucky, Ohio, South Carolina. Just two cars leaving the oceanfront, and I was telling her one stoplight would have changed everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, just
Well, I'll tell you something funny too is, so he had 3 jobs when I met him. So his uncle was the property manager at his where he had a townhouse. And so part of living there, he had a discounted rent. He did work at the property. Plus he was a lifeguard. So that was his job. And then he was like part-time delivering pizzas at one of our little local pizza joints down at the oceanfront. And then he was starting his landscaping business, that's his current job now. Yeah. So he had a lot, he was working. He was hustler, but he had all these jobs. So it's amazing that we even there
that moment.
But he's like, what's really funny? So at the time I worked for a bank and I was a bank teller. And he's like, yeah, I got this check and I was a little leery about depositing into my account. So I was going to go to that bank. And I was like, yeah, I worked there at that branch. So he would have been coming in, and because he wasn't a customer, he would have, at that bank, he would have had to come into the lobby, which is where I was working. So that Monday, I may have met him then. It's
if the gods that set up that drive and set up those stoplights and set up those two cars to be in unison, if that didn't work out, if the stars didn't align that night, then I would have asked her out on Monday when I saw her at the branch.
We'll never know. But
we'll never know.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just everything fall into place. And when you go through like a lot of, which you guys both know, bad dates, when you go through that, you're always a little, it's like, is something too good to be true? But for us, like everything just seemed easy, and it took me a little while to think, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. Like it's supposed to be easy. You're supposed to like just fall into place, and I'm not saying it's perfect. But especially at the beginning, it should be easy. It shouldn't be a chore. You should, it should just be right. And it's funny because like he ended up, he was going to be moving into a new place, and so we met in July and he was moving in October, and that's when he asked me to move. So it was only like 3 months we were moving in together.
Wow.
So we met in July, moved in together in October, planned our first trip together, which was our very first cruise. And that was February, and that's when we got engaged. So was that 7 months?
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you mind showing the picture again? Can we put that on?
So it's really funny. This just kind of was coincidental, but his brother, both of their parents passed away, years ago, and his brother renovated the house and lives in that house, but he still has a lot of his parents' old stuff, and he was going through old pictures. And he says, I found some pictures, and I don't even remember taking this picture. I don't even know if I've seen it.
My mom must have taken it.
I think his mom took it, but we got engaged on the cruise, and he had bought a ring. Oh. Sorry. That was really weird. So we got engaged on the cruise, but he had bought a ring and left it at his parents' house because he was really nervous about traveling with it, and something happened in the suitcase because we were flying and stuff. And so when we got home, we went from the airport to his parents' house, and he gave me the ring. And I guess his mom snapped this picture, but we are babies in this picture, so I don't know if you can see it. We are babies.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Jared's like, he's like, oh my God, we're so young. I was like, it was 20 years ago. More than 20 years ago.
Think of how old we're going to look in another 20 years.
God.
I won't have any hair. I won't have any hair left.
He needs a haircut.
I need a haircut bad.
He's almost full. And the other thing is he's got a lot of gray. He's got all this gray coming in.
Look at that.
He's very distinguished.
So distinguished.
You really like the what is it? The silver fox?
Silver fox, yeah.
I mean the silver bachelor, but he already got the
Golden bachelor.
a golden bachelor.
I know, but they broke up and they were divorced already.
Oh my gosh, already.
Are you heartbroken?
I was pretty sad because I thought they were actually going to work out because, I mean, their kids are grown, But he just, he wishes the best for her, but I guess as far as as far as one of the two have to move, obviously, and I guess neither one of them wanted to move away from where they are. So,
Usually that's a discussion you have before you get married.
Before you get
So,
married. Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I guess they were in the middle of discussing it.
They
And,
made money off that wedding. That's
oh, they
all that
made
was about.
bank.
They probably
They
had to
made-
stay married a certain amount of time, and they made a lot of money.
yeah,
like 5 minutes, because that's how long we were married.
Like,
I think it was 3 months.
I think it was 3
months.
Was it 3 months?
yeah,
They were
Yeah.
married 3 months.
not much, not very long.
No,
But
He can knock on the door and I won't even know who it is.
no, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I'll be like,
Yeah.
get off my porch.
so he has a really good dating nightmare story for you.
Oh gosh.
Like a
I know, I'm excited to hear this.
Yeah, it's a. I know I told you a little bit of what I can remember, but some of the details were not right. So he can tell you.
All right, I'm trying to think where to start. So, working in a parking lot at the oceanfront. This was in 1997, summer of '97.
Good
So
year.
I'm
Good year.
19, and so I met a girl that was parking in the parking lot, and just kind of hit it off pretty quick. And they went and parked and talked to me, came back and talked to me for a little bit, and then I said, "Hey, you want to hang out sometime?" Blah blah blah. So she invited me to her house, and she lived in Suffolk, and she's like, "Hey, let's watch movies." And back when VCRs were popular, so she's like,
VHS and
"Hey,
chill, right?
huh?"
VHS and chill.
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster.
Oh man, I love Blockbuster.
So I met, I went to her house, took my VCR, and had some movies, and so we sat there and watched movies, and so I'm getting ready to go home. It's the end of the night. She's like, "Why don't you just leave your VCR over here, and so we can watch movies? You just come back. You don't have to take it. You don't have to disconnect it or anything." So she was playing me. I didn't realize at the time. I
Your
was like,
VCR.
sure, I don't have to disconnect the coax cables. I can just leave it hooked up. I can, I'll just come back and we'll watch movies. And then, those were before I knew what ghosting was. I guess she pretty much, as soon as I left her house, I was immediately ghosted. And no answer, no phone, wouldn't answer the phone. I finally, 4 days later, get a hold of the roommate. I guess they had a regular landline phone back then, and the roommate's like, "Yeah, so and so, her boyfriend's over here." I'm like, "What? Whoa, wait a second, her boyfriend?" She's like, "Yeah, she acts like she doesn't even know who you are." I was like,
I bet she does.
I was like, "That's so weird." She's like, "Yeah, she told me she was keeping your VCR and everything." I was like, "Oh hell no, VCR's back in 1997.
Yeah.
That was like $200." So that was real money back then, and
Well, you were only not even 20 years old.
I know I was young, So I told the roommate, the roommate kind of actually took my side because she knows, hey, it's not right for her roommate to steal from a nice random guy, and so she was helping me out and told me when they were going to be there. And so I went and got my boys. We got 4 of us. We rolled in there 4 deep, and not guns or anything, but I was like,
4D.
I was like, I'm gonna go get my VCR. I'm gonna at least go get my VCR back. So me and my boy Maurice went to the door. I knocked on the door. He was hiding off to the left, and the boyfriend answered the door. He's like, "Can I help you?" I was like, "Yes, I'm here." I can't even remember the girl's name. I was like, "I'm here. I was here last week, and me and so were watching movies, and that's my VCR over there, and I could see it still on the floor." He's like, "Oh, hold on a second," and he shut the door, and he comes back, and I guess his girlfriend says she doesn't know who I am and doesn't know doesn't know anything, and I was like, "Look, I was here last week. That's my VCR. I don't know who you are or whatever." He's like, "I'm a boyfriend." I was like, "Well, I was over here. I was her guest, and we were watching movies. I think we were watching. I think we were watching Titanic. I think that was popular, right? Like right then and there. And he's like, "No, you're not getting your VCR." I was like, as soon as he said that, he tried to shut the door on my face. So Maurice, as soon as he starts shutting it, Maurice kicks the door in. I go full on into the house. He starts throwing punches. I start getting punched, and then I just put him in a headlock and just start wailing on him. And next thing I know, I look straight down the hallway, and I'm wailing on this guy, but I look down the hallway, and I can see her pick up her portable phone and dial 911. It was all like in slow motion. 911. I was like, oh shit, like I'm committing a crime and she's calling the police on me. I've never been in trouble. No drugs, no nothing. And I'm like, oh shit. So we bail. We get on 664. We're going like 100 miles an hour getting out of there. We like hightailed it because whatever. 2 nights later, my mom calls me at work. She said, a detective just called the house and is looking for you. And I'm like, did you do blah, blah, blah? I was like, yeah, I was getting my VCR back. Well, there's a warrant out for your arrest.
No.
I'm like, fuck. So I called the detective. I called the detective from work. It was like midnight. I said, yeah, this is Jarrett Ham. He's like, oh yeah, so we gotta I talked to a detective out of Suffolk, and we got some charges that you need to be seen on. And I'm like, okay, I'll turn myself in as soon as I get off work. He said, that's fine. So about an hour later, I get off work, I go turn myself in, and I get like kind of booked. But it's the same freaking night as the Fish concert at the amphitheater. So I'm in the holding cell with like 20 dudes tripping on. Oh my god! Everybody was like shaking and freaking.
Tie-dye shirts, probably. Yeah.
Oh, the shirts, they were all, every color. I'll never forget this one dude. He had I can't even remember the 4 words, but he said, fucking bitch, 2 girls' names, and like slut. And he said the same 4 words in a different order for hours. And I just couldn't believe it. But anyways, so I got booked. I didn't go to jail. I got my picture taken, got my thing, got my ticket, and I was on my way. No bond, no nothing. I just basically showed up, gave me my tickets, and I left. But I was still there for 4 hours because they were so backed up booking all these dudes from the Fish concert. So to sum everything up, I was charged with destruction of property and trespassing, and I think assault.
He wasn't charged. You weren't charged.
No, I was charged. I got tickets.
Okay.
But then I went to court a month or 2 later, and I basically paid the lawyer, and I basically everything dropped. But I had to pay her off. I had to give her $1,000 to I had to pay for the door to get fixed and pay I don't know, restitution or something. But everything got dropped like it never happened.
Yeah.
Did
And
you get your VCR back?
Yeah, I walked into the police station I want my fucking VCR.
He didn't get his VCR back either.
Never
got it back.
No.
Never got it back.
No.
I had to chalk that up as a loss.
A big loss. And you didn't even get to make out with the chick or anything, right?
We didn't do
Oh,
nothing.
you didn't even do anything?
I didn't even hold hands with her. I didn't even get to see.
Oh.
That should have tipped you off.
Yeah, Hey, it's a lesson learned. It cost me $1,000.
That's a good story, though. We want to hear all the stories. They don't have to be today.
That's the only time.
If you impress in beta, I remember that my uncle was on. Oh, beta's gonna change the world. Nope.
Yeah, Betamax.
I mean, 97.
Yeah.
I mean, that's God.
Betamax.
That's 21. I was just, oh man, that was a great year. 97 was one of my favorite. Yeah.
You're older than Jared.
Yeah.
What?
Michigan won the national championship in football. I was very excited.
Did Michigan?
Michigan, they beat the Ryan Lee from Washington State in
Okay.
the road ball.
Yeah. Yep. I remember.
And then 20-something years later, look, it all comes full circle.
Yeah, it does.
It took 20 years for me to win again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. 25 years.
97 to
97 to
24.
24.
Yeah.
That's 27
We
years.
got split in 97, which was total bullshit.
And
That's
yeah,
back when
undefeated records. Yeah.
Nebraska. Now we kick
Nebraska.
Nebraska's ass all the time.
Yay, sport.
Yay, sport. I know. This is my life now.
Oh, I know.
Recording on a Wednesday because the draft is this weekend. I gotta tell you how this guy eats when we go on trips. So we'll go to a restaurant. First of all, Joe never orders a drink, he just gets water. And he brings his little squeeze bottle
A little bit.
of like grape.
Oh, here we go.
Like Mio, the little
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid.
That's Kool-Aid
Yeah.
fruit.
So we'll be at like a nice restaurant and he's like,
Yeah,
and
like,
then,
like a steakhouse.
yeah.
It
No
took me a
shame.
while to get over that. I was like, oh my God, I'm so
So
embarrassed.
funny.
Who cares now? Who cares?
And then he'll get like a salad or something like small. And then he's like, order some food. He's like, no. He waits because he knows me and Shannon aren't going to finish our food. And he waits till all of us eat like our 5 bites of food and then he finishes our food for us.
That's smart.
I save a lot of money because if we're at a place where we can't take the doggy bags home,
Yeah.
then give me half you're giving me, you only going to eat half your steak. What's the point of me ordering anything on
Oh,
the
it
menu?
depends on where we're at. It might be eating the whole steak.
Right.
so,
She's
you
been
know.
doing good lately. She's been almost finishing her meals. She's been doing
I
good.
order like small portion.
Like
Well, it's there.
if we go to a steakhouse, she'll want like a 6 ounce, but I'll tell her to get the 9 ounce and then give me
Get the
3.
tomahawk. Get the tomahawk.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I'm not big on that cut of
Yes.
meat. He'll eat that.
I
Yeah.
feel like
I love ketchup, and I love ketchup on steak, but I know if you go to a steak place, you put ketchup on it, they look down on you, but I still like...
that's worse than the Kool-Aid.
He can do that at home. He loves ketchup.
Yeah.
So he probably would do the same thing if he
Patrick
did.
Mahomes is making it cool. He's like, hey, Mahomes is putting ketchup on
Ketchup
steaks.
on the steak?
I heard that.
I didn't know this about you.
Our,
Yeah, I've
Ketchup on everything, mac and cheese, eggs. I just love ketchup.
I'm trying to get the money out of my pocket. Money. Well, let's open this. Jared Hand, thank you so much. I want the money. The money. I won the money. I won the money. Yeah.
I needed something beforehand, so thank you.
Oh God, that is like so out of context. It doesn't even make sense. Anyway,
Thank you both for joining us. It was so great to have you. It's great to talk to you guys and see you and miss you both.
I know. Let's
Love the VTR story.
see each other in person, and,
Yes.
and so I can
Yeah.
speak with you, so I can give you
Please.
some hugs.
Please.
I know. We'll plan something. We'll figure it out. I'll
Thank-
text you every 5 minutes, so it's cool.
Okay.
But yeah, thanks guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Who's funnier, me or you?
Definitely me.
It's me.
Yeah, definitely.
It's absolutely sorry.
And it looks like you're getting sucked up by the sun.
This did nothing. All right, we're back from talking with Shannon and Jarrett.
That was good. Like I said, I love the story and how they met
Yeah, it was.
and just how it's lasted.
They're one of my all-time favorite couples.
Now I want to buy a VCR.
We need to put this in the middle so you can hear me. Yeah, you
wanna
want to
buy
buy a VCR? Or just go steal Jarrett's.
Yeah. What if she still has it?
What if she does? What if she's
Yeah.
like, remember the time I stole this VCR from this guy and he
And then tried to get him arrested?
yeah. So yeah, Shannon and Jarrett are one of my very favorite couples. I've traveled with them a bunch, like you heard. But just like seeing them together and seeing them interact with each other and like the little love they have for each other, it's just like, it's so sweet. And it's been almost 20 years now that they've been married, and it's just like gives you hope, you know, that there's the possibility of finding that person for yourself out there. So I'm gonna play this audio.
You're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance. So we were talking about the draft earlier, and there's this reel by this guy named Stephen Hart who talks about if boyfriends got traded like athletes, and I'm gonna play it because it's the funniest thing I've heard in a while.
Next episode without you, You traded me? What do you mean you do not recall? It says right here, Lewis Wilson, former USC standout, second-year boyfriend, first-year business analyst, has been traded from Rachel Parsons, first-year nursing student, third-year girlfriend in Appleton, Wisconsin, to Clarissa Cherry, first-year girlfriend, second-year preschool teacher in Los Angeles, California. In return, Rachel Parsons is receiving a second-round husband pick in 2026. Amidst this shakeup, Rachel has opted to sign her guy best friend to a one-year sneaky link contract. This trade comes as a shock as Lewis Wilson averaged 3 compliments per day, 1 date per week, and an 84% active listening rating. Wilson's season suffered a blow when he swung his hips from side to side as he was walking down a hill, giving Rachel the ick.
Oh, here we go with the ick.
What's up, Clarissa Country? It's your boy Lewis here. Excited to get out to LA and get ready for our first date. Clarissa Country, let's ride.
Oh, that's a dig at Russell Wilson. Let's ride. Every video, Russell Wilson's a quarterback. He's married to Sierra, and so he's always like, he was at the Seahawks, and then he was at the Denver Broncos, and he would end every video like, let's ride. So he's kind of mocking.
Did you see that reel? Like before this?
No, but I've heard, yeah.
That was really funny.
We can get in another episode. We can get into the ick because I don't get the ick. Like,
you don't get the ick? Let's discuss that now because I didn't find something.
But I always hear videos of like the ick, like
the ick is a real thing.
But it's all like little stuff, like.
Okay, so this is the thing. The ick, from my perspective, people can list out all the things that are icks for them. The ick is when something happens that makes you lose interest in a person. So something that happens to make someone like that you thought was attractive, unattractive.
So name like an example when it's happened to you.
So for me, it's more like it developed over time, and it was like, it's not that I don't like the person, or not that the thing that they did bothered me so much that it made me stop liking them. It's that I didn't actually like the person.
Well, that's the thing. If you're not really into someone, the ick just kind of makes you.
Little things will bother you more, but there are things I think that are like. Let's see if we can find a list of icks. There are things that are legitimate icks. Like for me,
political stances I know are icks
political
for people.
stances can be, but the way someone treats a waiter, that's for me. Like if a guy is a dick, yeah. If a guy is an asshole.
My dad used to do that. Oh, just give me the damages.
Yeah, if someone is rude to the waiter or is like unreasonable or demanding or something, that to anyone in the service industry, that is an instant ick for me. I'm like, nope. Doesn't matter how cute the guy is. If he's able to treat another person that way, I'm done. I'm good. I'm like, all right, thanks. So that's kind of an example. I know people get a lot less like the way someone swings their hips from side to side walking down a hill. I could see that.
I'd have been traded a lot. I'm like, wait, I got traded again?
I like the traded for a second draft pick for husband in 2026.
You have to see the draft too, because then when they interview them, they interview like the team owner or the coach will call the guy up, like, hey, we're gonna go pick you. All right, I'm looking forward. And they hand the phone, and I'm really looking forward to coming out to LA.
Something from the Vial Files. He was talking about. Go back to like the beginning of the episode. He was talking about having sex, and we talked about this a little bit in the last episode. Having sex and like when to have it in a relationship. And he said it's fine to have sex whenever you want to have sex, but just go in with caution, because when you have sex, a lot of times people develop expectations from that aren't necessarily realistic or go along with where they're at in their relationship. So if you're going to have sex, especially early on in a dating situation, a lot of times you have to realize sometimes it's just sex. It's not you know,
You can try to, people will be like, well, hold out, but it takes two people to actually, put that.
yeah.
Because if one, I don't know. I also think if you're coming out of a relationship or a marriage that, in most marriages, by the end of a marriage, it's sexless, and some relationships too. So if you're coming out of something like that, I think you're gonna you're gonna sleep with someone right away, just to kind of get it out,
Right.
just get out of the way.
But if someone that you want to date, you have to have that like understanding that like this is just sex. It's
Right.
not like
But it also takes
my
two.
expression of
You can
love
say,
for
hey,
you.
like let's, you're telling yourself, okay, let's try to not have sex like the first month. But the minute, like, after the second or third date, you're alone and you guys are, you both go at it. It's hard to kind of like, oh no, we can't, and it's tough. And I tell people this all the time, like after, like especially on the guy side, when a guy has sex with someone, in his head, then he's like, okay, I've conquered this. What else can I get? It's not for everybody.
yeah, that's what's weird to me because like when the 8-day guy dumped me, like I'll be honest, it wasn't amazing, but it was for him. So like I don't know, but like he had said that he hadn't been physical with anyone in a while, and I'm like, you'd think you'd want to continue that, like
Yeah.
you'd want to have someone that you could continue to do that with, and instead he was like, well, who else can I get?
Yeah, I've had friends, and she was like, I don't understand it. Like the relationship changed as soon as we started having sex, and unfortunately, it's not for everybody, and it's also men and women, but like a lot of guys that I know, it's like once they sleep with the girl, and then they also are like, okay, and if she's like good looking, he's like, wow, I can't, I got that. If I can get that, what else can I get?
Yeah.
And then they're also on social media, and the social media warps your head, and then they see all these pics of these amazing women, so they're thinking, okay, if I get her, I can get something else. But then they realize after they get rid of her, they have trouble getting something better, and then they might come back or be like, man, I really messed that up.
So something Nick said on his podcast was, if you want to wait just because you want to get to know the person more to see if there's something there before you get physical and like get attached, because a lot of people especially women, get very attached the minute you get physical. So to see if you're interested before you get to that point, you just, you hold off for like a month or more or whatever it is for you. And he said if a guy's interested, he won't have a problem waiting. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, he would wait. Now he might use it against her down the line, but I mean, he would wait. I think, I don't know. I mean, if there's like, by the third or fourth date, if you're not even getting a kiss, then you're just like, okay.
That's a communication thing. So if she explains like, I want to wait at least a month before we have sex.
And a guy's gonna have a calendar and have every day X'd out
Countdown.
coming up. Yeah, it's a month, baby.
Let's go. But do you think that's true that guys, if they're actually interested, they don't have a problem waiting?
Yes and no. Some might not want to, and some might take it like, all right, she doesn't want me, I'm gonna move on to someone else.
Do you think that shows that they weren't actually interested then, or they just wanted to hook up?
Yeah, they might not have been fully interested, but they thought they were. I don't know. I mean, if someone came to me and said like, I don't want to have sex until the first month, I would be. I mean, I guess I would be fine with it. I guess it depends how the relationship's been going so far. Like,
Yeah.
But again, it takes two, because if you say that and then by the third date, you bring her back to your place and it's getting hot and heavy, it's hard to kind of like pull back, be like, all right, no, we gotta wait. And then what is, then it comes into the whole, what is sex, right? Is sex just, and people have different views of that, so.
Yeah. The interesting thing about Nick is he said that him and his now wife, because they just got married yesterday, they hooked up on their first date.
So his
he's
advice
like,
is nothing.
Yeah.
So
He's like, you have to go into it that caution of knowing like,
But
this could complicate things. Having sex too soon could complicate things.
But then people are like, I want to have sex and stuff.
Right. But you have to go in with that knowledge going, this could fuck this up.
Right.
So, and that's like, what's at that point, what's more important, having sex or, seeing where the relationship could go?
Or just do both.
Or just do both, yeah. But for some people, they think that having sex will make someone like them more. What are your thoughts on that? I think that's something that a lot of girls do.
I think sex is sometimes described as something bad, and I don't think it should be. Like sex is good. Like it makes both people feel good. Even if, like the joke is when people say, oh, guys with bad sex is like bad pizza. No one ever admits that there's such thing as bad pizza. I've had bad sex, but it's still like
bad sex and bad pizza.
But but it's true. Like, you know, it just feels good. Even though it's bad, you're still like, oh yeah, that felt good. And I think I think the older you get, the more you realize, you know, like one of the kind of the jokes that I would tell people is, I feel like I've gotten more action in my 40s than my 20s.
Oh,
So
yeah,
either like
sure.
either it means like I didn't really try in my 20s, or it's just like, you know, it's just
I
different.
was married in my 20s, that's why.
But I just think sex is put in a bad light. I'm not saying it's, you know, good all the time, but I mean sometimes it's put in this bad light, like, you know, because if you have sex, it's gonna ruin the relationship. Well, maybe the relationship was never gonna work.
Right,
but,
right.
But then if you do have sex right away and it's good and it's that good feeling,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, you wanna have it again, I think having sex early also takes away the pressures of all that, because, you know, the first time you have sex with someone, it's a lot of women might be like, oh, I don't expect much the first couple times because you're trying to get used to the person, and you know, you're nervous, so it almost gets it kind of out of the way, so it doesn't have that stigma.
Well, it definitely opens up a different like level of intimacy because you've been like, you know, naked with this person or whatever. So like there's a wall that has to come down just to have sex. So there's a level of intimacy that you've just created between this person that you wouldn't have otherwise. But that's also where a lot of people get delusional, where they're like, we are closer than they actually are.
That's true.
So.
Or just have sex if it makes you feel good. Put a smile on your face.
The male perspective.
Yeah.
Just have sex. Stop overthinking it. Just hook up.
Well, that's what guys ultimately would. I mean, that's what guys ultimately would love. You know, like all these rom-coms about, like, you know, friends with benefits and how it doesn't work out. But in reality, if you ask guys if they could have a friends with benefits, they would do check yes every time, because that's the best of both worlds. They get sex and they don't have.
It never works though, right?
But
in those movies,
well,
they all fall in love with each other. So that was one of the things about having sex too soon, is trying to use it as a way to get the person to like you more. Do you think that's not? That doesn't work that way. It doesn't create more of a. Like, it doesn't make you like a person more.
No, I've never. I mean, now if it's good sex, then it's like, ooh, this, you know. Like I said, you know, because there's different levels. No, there's different levels. Like. Like a hookup, oh, that was good, and then you have like, all guys have it. Guys have like their top 3 in their head, you know, top 3 girls, you know, and I think it helps if it's good sex. But I think good sex is also because you have a good connection too. So I think it's put in a bad light when you're younger, especially like, you know, growing up in the 80s and 90s with like sex ed courses and stuff. And like, oh no, you know, it was just like so anti everything.
No, everything was abstinence.
Right.
Just practice abstinence. Just don't have sex, guys. Then you don't have to worry about anything. And then everyone.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm a teen mom. Yeah.
Sounds like a Lifetime movie.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, I'm a teen mom.
Yeah, I legitimately was a teen mom. Yeah. Got anything else? Don't forget to subscribe. Follow us on Spotify. We still need to work on getting on Apple. We're going to get that done soon. But subscribe to our podcast on Spotify.
Yes. If you want to, you know, you have friends or family or crazy stories, you know, we can interview you off camera. We don't have to bring your name up. But if you want to do an interview, you know, just let us know.
Yeah. Or if you have any questions, if you have any advice you're looking for, you can jump on with us. Or you can just send us a voice memo too, and we'll play it on here. Or you can just email us, whatever works.
You know what I want to interview? Like a recently divorced person that's just about to jump into the dating pool, and just to talk to them, because I think that's...
Do you want to interview me on Thursday?
Oh, that's right. You're almost divorced.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Thursday. Next time we do this podcast, I will be divorced.
But that's an interesting, because that moment of like when you're divorced and then certain people telling you, don't jump in the pool, wait, you know, work on yourself, and you know, so that'd be interesting.
I'm already in it. I've been in the pool.
Cannonball.
All right, so follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. On Instagram, we are No D Pics Pod. Everywhere else, we're No Dick Pics Pod. You can email us at nodickpicspod@gmail.com. And we will talk to you guys next week.
All right. Have a good week.
Bye.